Alright, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, like we expected, we got the upside move to the 49 to 51 area, and we're using that as pre-market resistance now. We have a naked VPOC and an open gap up there, and that is a pretty high odds target in the day session today. Now, bigger picture, like I've been discussing on the site, I think that ES is simply putting in a new trading range, and the 36 area seems to be the low end of that trading range of that recent balance. So for now, we're going to stick with that idea, and as long as we're not seeing some hard liquidation or some really strong selling, we will look for long setups on pullbacks into the support zones. The 43 to 44 is the spot where the aggressive buyers can enter the market, and we're already seeing some rotational trade ahead of it. But even a pullback to 39.75 to 41.75 wouldn't be out of the question, and basically that would tag yesterday's VPOC, fill the gap, and then ES can still head back up to 49 to 51 and perhaps even higher. So the main idea today is that the market is trading within a balance, and until we see a break of that balance, we're going to stick with the bullish view, since that's the bigger picture view. And when the overall market is in an uptrend, then pullbacks towards the balance area lows are really good long setups, right? We saw that yesterday in the 36-37 area. So that idea remains intact. And ideally, we don't break initial support today, because if you're going all the way back down to the balance lows, that's not exactly very confidence inspiring for new buyers or anyone entering the market. So ideally, we don't pull back very much, and break of initial support would be a warning sign that perhaps the market is not as strong as we expected. Ideally, even this 43.44 holds up pretty well, but given that the prior VPOC and gap is there, we could just fill it and then turn around. So as long as we're not in a liquidation type market where tick is holding below zero, we're running on weak and weakening internals, and the price action is just pretty heavy to the downside, we'll look for long setups at the support zones, targeting a move back up to at least 49 to 51, and then 53.5 to 54.5 is still very much within reach. That would only be a 12 to 14 point range, as long as initial support holds on the downside. But if the market starts gaining some momentum and some strength, then we could even make a new high today, right? That's not out of the question. When you're trading within an uptrend, setting a new high on the day, or breaking a little bit above balance is not a big deal. So, and that's why the final and extended upside objective is 57 to 59, and then we can expect some responsive sellers to enter over there, because I don't think there's going to be enough strength to sustain a breakout to new highs today. But we can still go up there and test those prices, and then perhaps rotate back down into the prior range, into the 50 to 53 area, something like that. So that's our default scenario right now, is that we're going to remain in balance, and pullbacks will get bought up. As long as we hold above the bull bear zone, that can still remain intact. Now in the event that we break below the 36 area, right? Because even though that's not the expected scenario, the market doesn't obviously always do what we expect. So we have to be prepared for both scenarios, right? So in the event that we do break below 36 and then hold below 36 to 38, this is the fourth day that would be balancing at these prices. So a break below that would be a break below a 4-day balance, and that could still result in the liquidation move. That was part of discussing the plan yesterday, right? So in the event that we break below 36 and we hold below 36 to 38, and the internals look weak and the tick looks weak, kind of the entire liquidation picture is coming into play, then we could get that liquidation move down to 26.5 to 28.5. Now, because we're breaking below 4-day balance, the odds of that zone holding up are a bit lower than they were 1 or 2 days ago. And we just have to, bear that in mind. Now, first test of that zone, I still think we're going to get a short-term pop. And, I think the 26.5 to 28.5 zone can still result in a move back up towards, 33, 34. So it can still give you some edge on first test. But if the market is truly liquidating and things are pretty weak, then even an extended move down to 2075 to 2275 would not be out of the question. So that just means that if you're taking a long setup and fading the liquidation move at 26.5 to 28.5, just be aware that this could be a little bit extended because we're breaking below 4-day balance, and that means that you're going to manage your risk a bit differently. You want that trade to work either pretty quickly or you want to get out of the way. So just keep that in mind if we even head down there. Again, that's not the scenario that's in play right now. Right now, we're expecting ES to hold up at initial support, maybe even pre-market support, and continue up to the 49 to 51 and 53.5 to 54.5. Now, as far as the other markets go, with TF, the area we talked about yesterday was 1107.5 to 1109.5, and TF spent majority of the day yesterday balancing in that range. So at this point, that short-term resistance from yesterday is going to act as support, and if you're watching TF, then you can use that as a gauge for how strong or weak the market is. Ideally, TF should hold the 1107.5 to 1109.5 area, and if you're watching NQ, then the high volume node at 33.33 is a pretty key level, and ideally you don't want to see prices getting much below the 31s on NQ. So those are really the main ideas on the day. Let's see how the open plays out. We don't have any major econ reports scheduled for remainder of the day. We do have a couple of econ releases out tomorrow. Right now we're running about average volume, so we can expect a 12 to 14 point range at the minimum. So let's see how the opening action plays out and then take it from there.